Okay, quick update on the Abyssling build. Using a javelin Abyssling still, though I do have some alts. And with the alts, I've been trying out the lightning and a snow orb. I already did the poison, and I can guarantee you these are good. These do really good clearing. The lightning and the snow orb, they're pretty good too. So I'll update you guys on that pretty soon here. For now, we're going to talk about the javelins. So what I changed with the build is this is more for bossing. For general mapping, I'll show you that in here in a second. But for bossing, we switch. This is what the talent tree is set up for. So let's show you the talent tree. Bosses started hitting pretty hard. I needed to switch up a few things. I was getting one shot by a few abilities that I felt like we didn't need to get one shot by, and we just really didn't have a lot of dodge. So the big things that were changed is I took a few abilities out for minion damage, switch it over to where just real quick, just pick the damage that you want to reduce, and then whatever you're dealing with here. If you're getting crit too often, you can use this, but I just went with the HP amplification. I wanted more HP. That's mainly based off the gear that I've got. I took some points out here. Didn't really... The bleeding, it was hard getting the bleeding to pop up as much as I wanted. So I switched it over to just getting a few points here. Got that HP amplification. And then we'll come back and fill out that tree later. Those were the big changes, really. Just getting the HP amplification. Over here, same thing. Got some armor, HP amplification, and unite power. Helped with the mana cost during the bosses, just in case I didn't have a mana potion ready. And the unite power helps with bosses, movement speed, caster armor, elemental resist. No, just a few points. You lose a little bit of damage, not very much, and you gain a lot of defense. So that's what was changed here. And as you see, you can kind of teleport in, gather your minions up, and then just switch to Unite Crowd if you want, as you're running out. And no big deal. Other big change we made, you see it makes me run pretty quick. And if we check out the defenses, a lot of armor. Still need to work on my resist, but the armor's pretty insane. And that's what happened. The reason why the build went this way is ended up getting pieces of gear that I couldn't switch out. They were just armor intensive without the barrier. So if I went back and got barrier again and was able to use barrier more, I would switch into something more barrier related. That's what we did there. For new gear upgrades, got the simultaneous Abyssling count on this. Looks like Prosperity is what does that. Pretty good rolls. Just using some minion speed gloves. And for the rings, exactly what you think they are, just some minion damage. Try to roll whatever you can on those. And minion damage with the necklace. Nothing too great here. These are mainly for survivability against bosses. And for bossing, I stopped using channeling to actually cast anything. I started running into issues where I just really needed to have the Abysslings up and just do some damage real quick. So that's what we switched out for the main part. Just throw up your mark, teleport in. When the boss tries to do their major move, teleport behind him if you can. Teleport your Abysslings with you, and then you just channel that damage in. The boss turns to you. I just switch over, pop up my bulwark, and switch over to Unite Crowd. So this will give you so much armor and elemental resist that you might be just overcapped. Might not need this much. But against bosses, it seems to help a lot. It seems to take a lot less damage than I was. And it's been pretty good. Now, one thing I did change up is when I do first teleport in on a boss, after you do that setup, you do want to use your war cry. I use Shout of Terror right now. it dampens the armor. I'll just show you guys. So it dampens the armor of the boss. You can use any war cry you want. This is just the one I've been trying out. So it dampens their armor a bit. And you get the regeneration effect. So if you put the regeneration on here, you're going to get yourself HP and mana regen. I'll show you. So kind of bring your summons out. And let's find some creatures. Get the shout, you have your regeneration effect. Teleport back in, switch between things. Defenses. So this is mainly a bossing setup. This is what I do against bosses right now, and mainly because I needed to survive. I was dying, minions were living. It wasn't working out very good. Here's the skill setup. Minion damage, multi-shot, projectile acceleration. Now I've tried a few different things for projectile acceleration. This is the one I stuck with because I needed the speed. The ninja stars that these guys throw out, if they don't hit and they're slow at all, it doesn't work out. So use that. Chain. Got a good chain. It helps out. You chain twice and it helps with the clear speed. So that's been helping a lot there. Teleport, link that with increased duration, disarm, use count. Most of you guys already understand how to use this. And found an enhance effect, so I've been trying that with these abilities here for the bosses. Along with regeneration on the Shout of Terror. And I still use the 2 Rune Knight setup. Because when one goes down, I just need another one up for a moment. I ended up even switching time acceleration on all of these. Just so I can get all of these runes up faster again. For the tankiness, pretty much just using minion body shield, minion armor. It allows the Arctic Rune Knight to stay up as long as I need him to, so that works out. And then down here we got armor penetration, the javelins, and the additional physical damage. Now I've switched out a few things here. This is the setup I like most for most bosses. And I'll switch it out with minion speed a lot. Now I've seen a lot of people bring up minion speed's not the best one, and it's not. If I had another green slot, quick attack would be much stronger. And I'll show you why in just a second. But because I'm doing a bunch of different minion builds, minion speed is the best for me because it gives you minion attack speed and minion cast speed. So if you're not sure on what Abysslings you're going to use, I just stick with minion speed because you don't have to level up multiple different runes. You're just going to level up the one that's going to take care of all your minions. And the movement speed, you can kind of argue that in a boss fight, if you teleport and your minions haven't teleported with you, the movement speed is going to help them run and get out of boss moves, but I mean, that's not going to happen very often. And that's going to be the main stuff for the build here. Other things you might be interested in is just what we're doing with the runes here. I just went with all increased rune level right now. And the best one that we found so far is this 33% minion damage when Arctic Rune Knight is equipped. The problem is the location. So the location it currently is doesn't really help us, so we're not taking benefit of it. Okay, and why, even though I use minion speed, I wouldn't recommend it if you already know what your build is, just because once you max minion speed out, you're going to get a lot of movement speed, but you're only going to get an additional 10% cast speed or attack speed. Whereas if you went with quick cast, you're going to get 5% additional cast speed amplification in the end. And you're going to start getting additional cast speed in blue quality. Just magic quality is going to be just fine. Rare quality, which is easily obtainable for your first character, 10% cast speed. You're only going to get movement speed here with the minion speed. But if you're not sure on what minions you're doing, or you're doing a lot of different builds, like I am, you can stick with the minion speed to not have to level multiple up. And you'll be able to, as you can see, you'll get the attack and the cast speed. So this is what I've stuck with for the most part, but I won't be increasing the quality of it anytime soon. It's still just normal quality. The quality of it isn't that great, and if you're going to use quality upgrades, I would use it on the more powerful things, such as the quick cast. Or the quick attack. Same thing here. Amplification is going to be more powerful in the end. Might as well just level that if you know that that's what you're going to use. Relics. Went with Avatar of Sethdar. Now, the equips for it are strange. You're getting Sentry skill rune level, cast speed, spell dodge, and chaos resist. So chaos resist is interesting to me. It's hard to get this. And the movement speed amplification from this might be very fun. So, I mean, you're going to get a few things, but if you want like maximum power, the Sentry HP isn't going to really help like the, what was the Castor will. Castor will actually increase the minion skill rune level. Now, the reason why I go with Sethdar is because of the benefits of the relics that it gives. So if you wanted to go with Castor, you're going to get elemental damage and elemental resist. If you go with Sethdar, it has this cool ability that you get damage amplification and whatnot once you fill these out. So Sethdar is probably the choice if you're going to go full minion build, though the +1 to rune skills isn't on there. I'm not really sure how that works. I'm not far enough into it, as you can see. Once I finish this out, I'll explain it better, but that's what my understanding of it. And if you look on the charms here, where it says Sethdar's Blessing plus 14%, these are the percentages that you gain towards this bonus. So currently, I have the 20%, and I'm working on getting to the 40%. And you can find all that out in the charm info here. Show you exactly where you're at. As you see, Castor, you wanted that +1 rune skill level. You're not getting any of the damage bonuses, but you are getting some elemental resist, and you're able to do damage yourself. So, however you're doing your build. A few things you want to try out that I've tried out on my alts, just for people that want a little bit more variety of things, and if you want to do some general mapping and whatnot. I've switched this out many times, and it seemed to work out for me. If you want to do a cast on channeling type build, you can channel with the Sacred Devotion. Throw something on there like, doesn't really matter what it is. What I was doing for the most part was Chain Lightning. And I was also using the Lightning Typhoon. And you can just kind of chain into the enemies every once in a while. You get the large shock chance. You can add yourself additional shock chance with the runes, and then that'll help things like your poison minions and whatnot. Or let's say you want to do the shock yourself. You want to do a lot of damage, and you set up a lightning chain that's going to work that way. And then you have the lightning minions. And then you want to use some kind of rune like Conductor, where the minions no longer are able to apply shock, but you do it for them, and then they get this crit rate. This could be a cool little setup. It's going to be hard to build this, but it is something you could do with any of the elements. It would work just fine. For people that want to do more of a melee-oriented build, and you don't really like to use Sacred Devotion because you're like, well, the damage amplification is great, but I don't like to lose my armor. You don't like to lose your armor or anything like that. Well, there's a lot of different setups you can do, and I've tried out with a different character. Now, they're too low level to show you anything too great with them right now, so we'll just kind of go with something that I can show you here on this character. So, for general mapping myself, I'll usually use a setup like this. Let's just move a few things around so make it easy. You know, maybe gold gain chance increase here, and the link rune drop chance. These are the two that I found. If you want to do something like that, you just set it up here. Turn that on, and now every time you walk over any of these targets, even the barrels seem to work. You have a gold increase chance, and you can debuff the targets. So as you see, it debuffs the targets with 100% chance as long as you can hit. And this would allow you to just run around and pretty much break targets and not have to worry about casting ever. It does increase the mana that everything costs, so that could be a problem for you, but it is kind of a cool little setup. Or let's say that you don't want to use the axes and you want to be more of a melee oriented build, but you can still use the axes with it. Huh. Let's get that off cooldown. Alright, well, I can't get rid of those, so let's just go to this. You can do a cast on channeling setup, or really anything you want with the whirlwind. And you can have the whirlwind go ahead and do your increased gold chance and whatnot. And let's say you wanted to add even more things to it. Well, you could add something like Frost Shock to it. And what would you add here? Like Lingering Chill. Increase the chill rate and chill effect. So keep things chilled even longer. In this case, you just kind of jump in, and I'll show a few alts that are trying this out, but it's just easy to show on this character since he uses a staff and can do it as well. And this could be kind of fun too. Let's say you're using minions as backup, and you found a staff or something that, or any weapon really that allows you to use whirlwind, which I think is almost anything, isn't it? Oh, nope. Dagger, sword, axe, blunt, and staff. Okay. So, if you find one of those weapons and that's what you're wanting to use, more of a melee-oriented build, because getting armor and HP is not too hard with this build. You can just kind of run in, debuff the targets. Even if you're not doing a lot of damage to them, and your minions are doing all of the damage, you're still debuffing them, and you're getting that increased gold chance in Magic Find. And it's also a phase. You're kind of phasing through the targets, and that'll allow you to phase through targets and save your teleport and whatnot for times that you really need it. You can even jump in with the jump move or teleport in, kind of whirlwind out and whatnot. These are things if you're trying to do a hybrid build. For a main minion build, you're most likely going to stick with the channeling here. You're going to stick with Sacred Devotion. Sacred Devotion might have a spell attached to it or something that you use, but if you want to do mainly minions are always going to be the Sacred Devotion because the amplification is just too high. But you can always attach a spell to it, as you see here. As for the staff, been trying to roll a good one. This is what I've had to stick with all the rolls I've done, because I don't have 2 Conqueror staff, so whatever I roll I just have to stick with. But attack speed, minion damage, and I went with the crit. Crit's been really important for this build, and the intelligence and strength. Only reason why I went intelligence and strength on it is because currently we are trying out with the new build here. We're trying out the stat transfer, where you transfer crit and crit damage from your stats. We'll see if this is good. If this isn't good, I would recommend most likely doing the acceleration effect for them, or whatnot, but in the meantime, I'm just going to try this out, mainly because the staff rolled with that good strength and intelligence. We'll see how that goes for me. Anyway, that's the big build update. Those are a few ideas that might help you. Some of the cool stuff I did find, just to like kind of recap, was the shout mixed with being able to get the increased gold chance and whatnot, and being able to put regeneration up. I didn't realize regeneration even helped your mana, so that was pretty cool finding that out, and being able to jump into a boss and just kind of throw up all your defenses and shout on them while your minions do damage. It seemed pretty cool. Anyway, that's the build for now. I'll do a couple more updates, and I'll update you guys on the alts that we have going here shortly.